Hey everybody. Okay, so hopefully everybody has their Intuit QuickBooks accounts set up. If there are any questions about that, refer back to the video. If you haven't done that, refer back to the video in the orientation module. This is required. Learn how this works, something like that, and you'll see how to get set up. From there, we're going to go right into our first assignment. First, though, I want to talk about a couple of things that might come up throughout the quarter. Number one is that, you know, QuickBooks Online is a live service, so there are changes that happen from time to time. Usually these are really small. They're cosmetic, like this button that used to be over here is over here now, or this menu doesn't include that, but now this menu does, right? Stuff like that, typically. Just kind of like as websites change. But that becomes an issue when you have a textbook that was written at a particular time, right? And so like time goes on and maybe the textbook doesn't reflect those changes anymore. Well, what our textbook has done for those who do have the physical text, the ebook is going to be updated constantly, of course. But if you have the physical textbook and there are changes that have been made, um, you can go to the publisher's website and find those. Now, you may not need these because I'm going to try to do my best to document any changes in the assignment page. But if there's one I missed or something else goes on, you can find them here. I'm going to show you where that's at. Go over that, and then we're going to go start the company and go through our first assignment. So let me share my screen. And so here, this is the publisher's website, and just go in here and search QuickBooks. I'm going to go into the most um, recent one. This is our book. Scroll down here to explore student resources. And if you find QuickBooks here, QuickBooks Online here are those update reports. I'm just going to click on it. It's, this book has been out just a couple of months and there are already some changes. So they're probably not much, but, this video is being recorded like on August 31st. This was from just like a week ago. So you can go take a look. Again, it's probably not huge stuff. Some changes here. So you replace ad budget with creative budget, things like that, like small issues, but again, not too huge. But if you need them, you can find them right. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and start my company. I'm going to go right into 2-1, well, 2-1/2-2. So as I mentioned in the orientation video, when you start the company, a number of questions come up, and that's where I'm at in the company that I'm using, this demo company that I'm using for the homeworks. So here, this is what you'll see. And I've also brought up from page 21 the lablearning.com/QBO setup, which has the answers to all the questions you might. I think so, at least. A couple more questions than there were last year, but they don't really help or don't really change much. Call our business, I called it Puppy Love Demo. And how have you been managing your, I believe it's nothing, I'm just getting started. Nothing, I'm just getting started. And we've been, okay, is Puppy Love, see, like this one is not even on here. So, oh, here we go. Yes. Yes. Mixed up. I run and own this business. Yep. Under a year. What kind of business is this? Is it an LLC? Have that. I don't see it. I don't think it matters. Here, and I'm going to say, or I'll just say I'm not sure. It's a sole proprietor. Okay. See, there's quite a few of these. This is going to be pet care, except for veterinary. And what's your main role? For account because that's what we're doing. Who works in the business? Only the owner for right now. And then we can do a whole lot of skip. Skip that. Skip that. How do we track receipts? We're going to skip this for now because it doesn't matter. Skip this. What do you want to do in QuickBooks? We're going to skip for now. Sure. That. And then we will skip. A lot of these are like tying apps to the software or setting up certain accounts, importing information, stuff like that. But here we really want just a blank company. So we just sort of skip as much as we can, go to let's go. And here we are. So this is sort of your basic look at QuickBooks Online. Let's see more because we've answered these questions as best we can. And we can go ahead and get started. So I'm going to move over here to develop your skills 2-2. A couple of places you can generally find things. Here's the gear. We're going to use this here for our do some account setup. But also anytime I mention the words plus new, that's what this is. It's where you can do new invoices, new expenses, bank deposits, that sort of thing. Sort of like the main work of the business will be done in here, while sort of setup stuff comes from here. You might have to look at your chart of accounts a lot, get it in here, or you can go down here to accounting and chart of accounts. Either work. Okay, so let's get to work here. So click on the gear icon and choose. Opens up here, and here we're going to put in edit. And here is where you're going to use you just kind of put your company logo here. It can be any picture you want. There's one that's in the student files, the student handout files, that is that company logo there. I actually kind of prefer it if people use just different pictures of little puppies or dogs you find online. It helps me differentiate between between people. Okay, so you've done that. So we put our picture in here, and we go down here to the EIN number. This is for tax purposes. It's the employment identification number, and we're gonna type in. Now, what I'm going to do is there's not going to be a lot of me. You guys aren't going to watch me type a lot, and when we get to parts where I'm having to enter information, I'll pause the video while I do it. 0 1 2 what's that? 5 1s and 2. Okay, and I believe we're done with that. Yep. Okay, because we picked sole proprietor, that's what we want to have here, and we're going and we see steps 8 and 9 are entering the phone number, website, and address. I'm going to pause while Okay, I'm just about to enter the address here. As it's as you type the address out, it's searching through a postal database, and so it's trying to match an address that already exists. Eventually, the intermanually, as it says in the textbook, intermanually will come up, and do it like this. So I'll just do this wrong here. Los Angeles, California. The 90112. Okay, save it here. Yes, it's correct. And same as company, same as company. Okay. Go down here to advanced. We want to set our. I just want to go and skip anything. Counting method is set to accrual. I believe that's what it starts out as accrual. Tax form, sole proprietor. If it hasn't been changed to that, change it here. And we want to change categories. Already off, so that's great. And we're going to go to our edit in advanced here. We're going to scroll down here to customers. We're going to change this to clients. And then we're going to save it. And that we've done. And that is 2-2. Next, we're going to pop over to setting up the chart of accounts. And the chart of accounts is very important because these are the accounts that will be tied to the actions we do as a business. So we will record our our bank account into a bank account type account. We will record our income into an income account and track our expenses through different expense accounts, right? If you've had any accounting before, you'll know what this means. And yeah, that'll be the next thing. In the chart of accounts is the list of all those accounts for the business. Now, I believe we're going to be importing a new import chart of accounts. Yes, we're going to import the chart of accounts. Used to be done a little different way. We're going to import this chart of accounts, and it's going to have most of the ones that we're going to use through the quarter, but we're also going to be adding a bunch of accounts as the quarter goes along. One thing to remember when you add an account, and I'll harp on this as we do it, but you want to make sure that it's the right type of account. Like, it defaults to, I believe, bank account, but like if it's an expense account and you set that as a bank account, that's really going to mess up your numbers because clearly it's not a bank account. That's not money coming in. It's an expense account. Money's going out. So you really want to watch that as it comes up. So I'm going to pause this again and get set up for 1-3, 2-3, I should say. Excuse me. Okay, now we get into 2-3. The first thing we're going to do is wipe our chart of accounts. Basically, I'm in the chart of accounts for this company now. It has imported some or created some. When the company was created, what we want to do is delete these and import one that the business owner has set up for us. It's going to end up looking pretty similar, but it's we want to go through this process to learn how to import a chart of accounts. Okay, so as you see, we can make sure the dashboard is showing it. This is the dashboard, and we're going to go up here. We're going to change this to Urge Company. Now you do not want to do this. Oops, that so matter, but you do not want to do this any other time. This will delete everything, and you do not want to do that unless you want to delete everything for some reason. But yeah, don't want to do that. I mean, here, are you sure? They kind of put some. It's down here in the corner. They're like, "Hey, are you really sure?" Because this is a pretty big deal. I don't know if you have to type yes in that. Okay, what type of business is this? Under miscellaneous. Pet care services. And we want to create an empty chart of accounts. Select only the advice of an accountant, or in this case, your instructor. Do this because we're going to start with a blank one, and then we're going to import one to be exactly what we need. Wipe data. There it goes. Now what we should see is we're going to go in here to the chart of accounts, and there's going to be a few because there are, these are just sort of your base accounts that get in every account. So, but remember, we had a larger list. Those are all gone now, and now we're going to import this chart of accounts from the business owner, Sadie, in this case. And we're going to need to use our student handout files for that. In the orientation video, the first orientation video, I show you how to do that. But if you didn't see that or forgotten, this is where those handouts are. So you'll download those, and this is where we're going to find, if you wanted to use the default logo for the company or just any other of the documents that are mentioned in the textbook that you'll need, this is where you'll find them if you don't already have them. So I need to have them on the desktop. Let me check right here. I do, right here. That's where I've got them saved. Now we're going to go over here. Go to here. Tools, and we're going to import data. Let's see here. Click chart of accounts. Click this chart of accounts, and now we're going to go see where this. I may have to. I have it zipped, so I may have to open it. Yep. But this would be a good chance to show you what's in those student exercise files. You go in here, chapter 2, and then here's that COA to import that it asks for. I'm going to pull this out to my desktop. And that is one thing. If you do have them in a zip file, it may not recognize it. Where you import it. If you do, you'll just have to either put it in a normal file or drag it onto your desktop, something like that. Oops, here we go. Browse again. There it is. Click there. Click next. Everything should be set up. I didn't look at the Excel file, but it's from the publisher. It will be set up like it's supposed to be. And we're going to click next. 22 accounts, I believe it says. Let's see. Yes, 22 accounts to be imported. And I'm going to import them. And now it just basically, I think there's something like 75 accounts when you first set up the business. And this kind of trims that down to more that you're going to directly be needing. And so here's the chart of accounts, and we'll see that they have been imported, right? And now we're going to add one. Here, do the chart of accounts. The first time you go to a chart, you might get a question here that says, do you want to look at the chart of accounts, or do you want to look under the hood or something like that? Just click yes, and it'll bring you here. And now we're going to set up a bank account. This, we've got these, and here's new. And also, just sort of as you get used to QuickBooks, typically if you need to add in a new customer, a new vendor or something, this is where that button will be on the screen. This is for the chart of accounts, but typically the layout is similar for each task that you're going to do. So here we're going to do a new type of account, and this is where I talked about making sure that you have the right type of account. Here we're adding a bank account, so we want to make sure that we have bank as the account. Save account under bank accounts. Tax form section. This is just sort of as you get a little bit more specified in what type of an account it is. It's a bank account, but it's a checking account, and et cetera, et cetera. Checking account, and then the name is for Los Angeles City Bank or LA City Bank, which it will be referred to a lot in the text. And there's no need for a description because it's pretty clear. So we're going to save that. And now there it is. Hey, okay, stop one. And now we're going to make an account inactive. Pretty easy to do. Although it's so serious. Excuse me. Oh, travel expense. So we'll go down here. There's not going to be doing any travel in this course. So we go down here, make an account inactive. There you go. We're not going to use it. We don't need it on our screen. And edit an account. This is a fairly simple one too. As we go to the services account right here, it's an income account, how we make our money and how we record that. We're going to change this from services to Pooch services. To edit something, you do the drop down, edit here. Everything stays the same, I believe, except for the name. Yes. And that's it. And so now we have pulled in the chart of accounts. These are the accounts we want for the business. We've put in our bank account, which we're going to be using a ton. It's our primary bank account. And we've done a little editing. Next, we're going to add in some products and services. And we're going to add some users and then do some transactions. So let's get to it. I'm going to pause it, and then we're going to come back and add in some services. Okay, now we're going to add in those services. So on page 30, there's a picture of the list of services here, and it's sometimes easy for students to miss. I look at it all the time, so it seems obvious to me, but there are eventually going to be 4 categories that you're going to use. They're all on this page. You've got bath and brush, with small, medium, large, extra large, mini pet groom, small, medium, large, extra large, full pet groom, and then add-ons at the bottom. Now, before the assignment is out, we will add all of these. But right now, we're just going to add a couple of them, doing the full pet groom and the mini pet groom. So, actually, we're going to add the first 3. But here we go. So what we do is we go to here, all lists, and we want to go to product categories, because these are going to be broader categories that we're going to put each of those subcategories like, bath and brush and the small, medium, large are going to be the products. These are going to be the overall categories. We're going to have a new category. It's going to be full pet. Save. And now we will do the same for mini, pet groom, and bath brush. Oops. So now that we have these categories in there, we're going to put services under each category. And so, go products and services. We have a new service. And then here's where we're going to do some typing. I'll do the first one, and then I'm going to do the rest with it paused. But here we have, we want to have small, medium, large, and extra large full pet room, full pet rooms. And so we need to fill all these out using the same information, except of course the price and the names. So here we'll go small. Category, we're going to pick it off the list. We have those categories, right? We just made them. Full pet groom. And the description is full pet groom small. $40. And we use the default here. It's our income account for Pooch services. And we're going to close this and save it. Now I'm going to pause it. I'm going to do the same thing I just did, but make one for medium, for large, and extra large. And then we will come back. See it. Okay, I've got all those entered down. We've got the small, medium, and large, and extra large. And now we're going to go and run a report on these. You're going to run a lot of reports through the course of the class. Basically, a report is a report. Seeing how, we'll use them to see how much money we're making, see what our assets are, check our balance sheet. But here we're just going to run a quick report, our first one, to show what we've got. You can run the reports from here, your main report button. Do it from here. We're going to run a report. And there you'll see this is the list of our services. Hours and services came in. That was part of the import. And these are the new ones we just created. And there you go. If you wanted to get there, you just, the other way, you just go to reports. And you can either search for it here, or you can just do products. Yeah, sales by service. There it is. Product service list. Okay. I always like going to switch to classic view on these because it looks like this, and that's what I'm used to. So you can set dates if you want, but I just prefer the classic. And so there's the same thing we did. Okay. And we'll go back to dashboard. Okay, we're going to add a user now. Year and company and manage users. There's me because your name will be there. Administrator. And we want to add a user. See where the the new thing was here to add a user. The thing you want to do is going to be right there. Who was putting it now? Sadie, right? Yep. Okay. So. Okay. First name. And okay. And that's all we need. Here, and it says send an invitation. So it does, but it's not. It's going to a dumb email address. So There you go. Ah, okay, I'm not gonna do that part because I would have to get my phone and do a verification. You send it. Okay. So we're gonna go back here. Just assume I went through. We're gonna deposit. We're gonna skip to develop your skills 2-6. Okay, before we go into 2-6, I did grab my phone and put in the code and blah blah. And this is, you can see clearly here that she has been invited. Um, this is not a real person, so they're never going to accept it. But that's what it looks like when you add users. Um, and there you go. Now we'll go on to 2-6, and it looks like this is where we're going to start our transactions. Excuse me, our transactions here. And this is the heart of what QuickBooks is. It's putting in business transactions to accurately reflect those transactions and the amounts of them so that you'll see where the business is at. How much money do we have? How much money have we spent? Where's our money coming from? Where's it going? Et cetera, et cetera. Sort of the heart of everything is doing these transactions. And so let's do them. Okay. So here, we're going to go back to the chart of accounts. I like to go through here. You can go through the year if you'd like. And you see at the top of the page on 34, that's the list of we're sort of to assume here that she's given you an email or a physical list of things that have happened so far. And here we go. We're going to view the register for the bank. This is how you just kind of see what's in there. Close any pop-ups that come up. Almost all of them are going to be telling you how something works that I'm telling you how to now, or it's going to be an or something. And we're going to go. So we're going to go here. Deposit. Change that from a check to a deposit. Typically, I'll just show you this now when we do deposits. We're going to go through plus new and bank deposit. This is just the first one, and so we're going to do it through the bank register itself. But yeah, let's do this then. Okay. So here, and again, I really want to harp on this. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I'm going to mention it now. If not, is you really need to watch your dates for the transaction. The business is set up for 2026, and basically it's set up that way so that you'll never run into a late fee or time won't be a problem. Everything there won't be any time management because it's so far in the future. The way that this can really rear its ugly head is because QuickBooks automatically puts in today's date, which as a person in the real world makes a ton of sense because today is today, and that's when you want to put the transaction in. But here for the class, you want to make sure to put in that 2026 date. I'll talk about it more specifically when we get there, but bank reconciliations, it becomes a huge problem if you have incorrect dates. I'll talk about it again. I'll talk about it when we get there, but I say this a ton of times. Watch those dates. Everybody slips up, and if you get through, but do your best to make sure you don't. Make sure that it's as tight as it can be. Keeps you from having to do is going back and changing things later. So anyway, let's do this deposit. It is from 07, 05, 2026. Owner investments, the account we're tying it to. Owner's investments. And the memo, we're going to call this the initial investment. That's how she began the company. And it was for 75 grand. And again, it's not a payment, it's a deposit. Make sure that I add deposit right there. 75 grand. Save it. And there it is. Now we have this. Now this business exists. We've deposited some money, and we can go through and kind of go through the rest of these transactions. Let's see. We've got the equipment one, and I think we need to do the rest. Okay, here we're just doing the banking transactions. Here it does. We want to put in all of them. I should make sure here or later. We actually do it later. So the first one here we're going to do is just the 16 grand to get our salon equipment. So here we're going to go back to our banking deposit. We're going to make this a check because this is not what this is. This also happened on 7/5/26, so you don't have to change anything here. A reference field, we do want to make sure that this is check number 1 1 2, and the payees is probably going to be our first instance of adding someone here because we don't have any vendors, we don't have any customers yet. Remember, we purged the company, everybody's gone. So when we get to putting in new customers, new vendors, if it doesn't see one that it recognizes, if Ace was in here, the drop down would show Ace Supply or grooming or groomer and supply. Since we don't have it in yet, we're going to have to enter it. So we're going to do that. Okay, so there they are. Extra space, and we're going to add them. They're a vendor. It's saved. Now they're in our. It's pretty easy to do, clearly, but just if someone's not in there yet, you have to add them. What they have to save. Okay. $16,000 payment, and in the account field, type salon equipment in here, where we're going to add our first account. Or we added that bank account. Here's a second. I'm going to add salon equipment. This will bring up the type of account that it is. Like I mentioned, it defaults the account type to bank. We want to make sure that we only do this for bank accounts. This is actually a fixed asset account here. And the detail type is machinery and equipment. And the name of salon equipment, which we already have in there. But just, again, the key here is to make sure that when you're putting in new accounts, that you get the correct type. And, they're all here. You just pick them off that list. Not a sub count, no depreciation. We're going to save and close. Okay. And then that was just saving that account. Now we're going to save the transaction. And we see that 16,000 has gone out of our balance. We now have $59,000 cash, and we bought that equipment for 16,000. And that brings us to the end of develop your skills. Next two parts are reinforce your skills and apply your skills. They're going to work pretty much the same way for this chapter. And we're going to go through there and do some more. I will say that for the DYS chapters from here going forward, we're going to use an example company set up by QuickBooks. It's not going to be Puppy Love. The DYS section here on out are basically just for practice. And I'll show you in the next video, but we use like a dummy company set up by QuickBooks so that we can kind of learn how to do it and mess with it without messing up our company files. Excuse me. And it's called Craig's Landscaping. We use that for the DYS, and then we'll come back in the next assignments and here on out, only the RYS and AYS are the stuff that's going to be done in Puppy Love. But here in the first one, it's the whole bit. And that's why I'm going to do the whole thing with you. So yeah, let me pause this and we're going to take a look and see what we're going to need to do. Okay, for RYS 2-1, we're going to make some accounts inactive because we're not going to use them. We're going to edit an account and we're going to add it. The first two, again, this is, we have done this stuff. We're just going to do a little bit more of it here. So what we're going to do is make inactive which ones. Okay, ask my accountant. There we go. There we go. Ask my accountant is right there. That's a new account, but I was unaware that existed. Now it's not going to because we're going to make it inactive. Now we're also going to go to billable expense income and contractors. And you can just go up here. You can search for them. Billable inactive, and the other one is contractors. EONT will get us there. Yep. We'll make inactive. Next thing we want to do is change into step number 4 here. We're going to change advertising and marketing to just marketing. We'll go ahead and search again. Advertising. Here, we'll edit it instead. And we will take off advertising and just to type it. Okay, or you just delete the other ones. So now it doesn't come up with advertising, but for marketing, there it is. And we're going to add one more account. This is going to be the savings account for the bank. And so here we're going to have a new account. It's a bank type. Again, make sure you get that type right. Let's see. Bank account. It is a savings account, and it is Savings LACB, LAC Bank. Okay, we're done there. You can see there it is. We'll put some money in there a little bit later, but not right now. And we move on to 2-2. Now we're going to go add in some services here, and I'm going to pause for all of this, but it's just going back in here, products and services, and where we have full pet groom here, looks like we're adding the ones in for bath and brush right now. So new service in that bath and brush category, small, and then I'm just fill out the rest of these. So I'm going to pause it as I fill out the rest of these, but small for 20, and then a medium, large, extra large, and we'll go back to the dashboard. All right, I've entered all of those. We have bath and brush and our full pet groom here. I intentionally put the bath and brush extra large. I didn't put a category with it, so I just kind of show you how to fix any of these. If you do have any errors, you just go in here to edit and fix the category. This is bath and brush. You need to change the category name, any of that stuff. You just go in and edit it, and you can fix it. Then we'll save and close it, and now it's up here where it needs to be. Now we're going to move on to 2-3. We're going to add another user. Right here. Add user. And we're going to make an accounting firm. Let's see. There we go. This is how you would invite an accountant. See, this looks a little bit differently than this already, right? There's a change from the book. It doesn't have that. For here, they have their own, accountant invite, and it's differently than the book. So when I talk about differences in the book, this is what I'm talking about. Like if you look here to add a user, you go over here, and, the role you wouldn't see accountant, but it's right here. It's just kind of a little bit of looking around. So here instead, we will go here to say accountant at accountant.net. Let's just say that we did blah, 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 type, and we'll hit invite. Well, I just don't want to have to put in that code again. Hopefully I won't have to. Okay, thank goodness I didn't have to. So now here we have the 2 users within the company, and we have our accountant, who is accountant. Clearly fake. All right, and that, as you can see, this is kind of how the course goes, right? In develop your skills, it was very specific. Do this, do this, do this. Where and it had a little bit more explanation with it. Reinforce your skills takes a little bit of that explanation away, and apply your skills takes most of the explanation away, and then you just sort of enter the things as you go. But in reinforce your skills and apply your skills, 99% of the time, I'm not going to say every time, but 99% of the time, it won't be something new. You'll have done it before in DYS. So let's go over here to apply your skills 2-1 here on page 40, and we're going to make the following accounts inactive. We're going to get sales of product, income, and cost of goods sold. Go back to our chart of accounts. Remember, you could also get there through the gear on the chart of accounts. It's just your preference. And we're going to make sales of product, income inactive, as well as COGS. of goods sold and active. Okay. Rename purchases to pooch supplies. Purchases. This is an expense account. This is where we're buying, like, where when we bought our salon equipment, that's what you have, like, your tubs and your dryers and your clippers, right? This is for stuff that's going to be thrown away, stuff you're going to use up the supplies. I don't know, like nail polish, because there's nail polishing is something like that. Something you're going to use up as you uh, perform the duties. We're going to go to expenses. We're going to change purchases. What it was, purchases to pooch supplies. And okay, save this. We're going to add a new account. Again, you want to make sure you get the correct type here. This is going to be an expense account for expenses. And here we're going to scroll down. We find office administrator. There we go, office general administrator. And there, that the account name. Oh, we actually want to have a name, which is no postage. We're going to save that one, and we're going to put in our credit card, because this is just another. We're going to have tons of payments with our bank account, but we're also going to have payments with our credit card, and we have one with our credit union here, so we're going to add it. We're going to add a new. It's going to be a credit card account, of course. Under credit cards, credit card all the way down, but we're going to call it City Credit Union. They're the folks. We have our, you could call it, in the real world, you might call it like City Credit Union Visa or City Credit Union MasterCard, right? But here, the City Credit Union. You want to put any of those, that's fine. But that's all you need. Okay. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to skip running the report. You could do that. You're actually going to need to export it. Actually, I'll show you here because this is going to be part of the homework. Turn this in. So you go here, run report. Here's the button. Again, like I say, I like to just switch to switch to the switch to this, and we want to export it. So we want to export this out as an Excel file to turn in with our homework, and we do it through this. Drop down here, export it to Excel. There you go. Open it up. Oh, it's over here. And there's an account in an Excel file. This is kind of there's a lot of turning in reports. I always check the file yourself. I'll have access to all of your files, so I'll check your work in there. But when you turn in the reports like this, it just kind of gives me a quick look. Number one, to see that you're done, so I'll know to go to check it when you submit all this. Also, two, just kind of give me a quick glance over to be like, oh, this looks right, this looks not right. Some stuff to look at a little bit more in detail. Okay, so we did that. We ran that report. What do we have now? Now we're going to put in the rest of the services. And I think I am going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that off camera. Just keep in mind that you have 4. Some people don't see the add-ons here below where you've got nail, because it is kind of pink on pink, kind of hard to see. You've got add-ons, nail painted, teeth brush, that sort of thing. But make sure you get all that stuff in. And I'll show you the chart, or show you the list of services when I get done with it. Okay, I've got them all in now. Just made the list from the page to the screen. There are all those add-ons. I did have to make a category for add-ons. We did that earlier. And then finished out, had the bath and brush, had the full bedroom, and now here in the bedroom. And that's it for that. You'll also do a report for these that you'll need to turn in. Under more or run report here, or like I showed you before, you can go directly to reports. Probably easier here, but just, if you're working with your own company and wanted to take a look, you can just go in through the report section. Okay, and Finally, we're going to enter some opening balances. These are, if you go back to page 34, these are the things that the other things on the list that Sadie has mentioned that you guys are going to need to do to set up the company. So let's do these. Let's go to the Citibank. We're going to do them all from the register. We're going to add a yep, great. We're going to add a check here and add a check. Again, make sure those dates. This is time one of 10,000 that I'm going to tell you. And if you just do the 6 digits, you don't have to put your slashes and stuff. It's kind of a handy little time saver, not much, but if you remember to do it, if you do 7, 10, 26, it'll put in the correct date. Check it's auto-filling as we go, so we're going to make sure that's right. And of course it is here. The payee is City of Los Angeles clerk. They're not going to be in there. Okay, save them, I should say. Memo was for our business license. So get started. $50, and the account is taxes and license. I actually don't know if we're going to have that one or not. We might. Taxes and licenses. This was one of the ones that was imported when we imported that chart of accounts. So there it is. We're going to click save, and then we're going to do the rest. And this is another one that I'll do off camera, but we're going to have check 3 to Doggies Plus, 4 to George's Pet Media, and 5 to our rental people. Save that one. Again, I'm going to pause it probably one last time, and then I'll come back and show you that I've entered those and what that should look like, and we can look at the balances. Okay, I've entered all of those in there. As it does mention in the textbooks, I had to add prepaid rent as a account. Again, make sure you use the correct account. It is other current asset, not other asset, but other current asset, and then prepaid expenses. Then all those dates. I messed one up. See, it's really easy to do. 7:30. Yeah, like I said, it's really easy to do. Saves you having to go back later. As long as it's in 2026, you're probably going to be okay. But yeah, if you use today's date on a lot of these, it's going to mess you up. So I've edited it, and I'm going to save it. Okay, now those are all correct, and now we can go look. And kind of a good thing about the book here is that it does give you you can go check your figures to make sure you're at least in the ballpark or have done everything correctly. So we're going to go back to our chart of accounts, and we can check these figures to make sure that we're right. So let's see, the LA City Bank, $51,950, great. Prepaid rent, there it is, 33. Salon equipment, 16, and owner's equity, 75 grand. We just assume the negative there, and we're good to go. We would go here. We would do one more. We would export this chart of accounts. We would run a report. We would export it, and that would go into our homework, and that is the first assignment. Next, we're going to go into working with customers and vendors and so on and so forth. Like I say, from here on out in the videos, I'm only going to be doing the DYS, and that DYS will be with another company, a practice company, not Puppy Love. It's just a way to, again, to practice without messing up your work. And then for the stuff that you'll do for Puppy Love, that'll be the stuff you do on your own. But we'll do the rest of the stuff together, and you won't be surprised by anything. So yeah, that is it. If you've had any questions about any of this, please let me know. If your balances are wonky and you can't figure it out, let me know. I would say check your dates, check your file types, and if your numbers are wrong, just check. Make sure you get those products categorized correctly. Services and hours are just kind of orphans. They just kind of live there. I think you move them around later, but just don't worry about them. That's in the product section. And that's it. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. Stop sharing. Stop meeting.